Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
Dr. Shiva? Yeah, we can.
A warm welcome to our panelists and participants to the national webinar on emotional intelligence. I think a great start for us, even as we look through this wonderful topic. The past few years with the pandemic has been stressful to many of us. And though the pandemic is becoming an endemic, it has left and weakened our confidence and weakened us emotionally. The ability to recognize and understand emotions is key to a person's growth, and it plays an important role in the workplace, in our homes, and the community as a whole. With this, I, Dr. Shiva Thomas, the anchor for the session, would like to welcome each one of you, and I'm glad to be interacting with you on this morning on this session on emotional intelligence. The webinar has been organized by MCM College of Management, headed by our director, Dr. Prabhudev. MCM College of Management is a flagship institution among the MQI group of institutions offering two-year MBA programs. This institution is managed by a committed group of passionate, dedicated, and philanthropic group. And the highlights of MCM has been that it was awarded in 2019 the most promising management college in Karnataka. MCM, under the leadership of Dr. Prabhudev, is moving ahead in a big way. We have two batches of students who have passed out and all placed and doing exceptionally well. At MCM, we believe in adding value to students, faculty, staff, and all who are involved. Welcoming to the topic this morning on emotional intelligence. Humans are complex and we have an array of emotions that can be hard to read. Having the ability to read these emotions and understand where they arise is emotional intelligence. We have an expert speaker with us this morning, Ms. Shilpa Somanathan, to speak on this, and she's a clinical counselor. We will be reading out her profile a little while from now. But before that, a few guidelines. Okay, just for the start, do put your audio on mute, all participants. We will be having a Q&A towards the end of the session. Kindly reserve your questions for the Q&A. Okay, and we also just want to also kindly note, dear participants, that only those who attend the entire session and submit the feedback at the end through the link which will be provided will be given the e-certificate. The link will be provided to you during the Q&A session. It will be put on the chat by the panelists. So kindly send in the feedback for you to receive the e-certificate. I'm just going to begin by introducing our director, Dr. Prabhudev, and he's going to be giving the inaugural address, followed by our main speaker, Ms. Shilpa Somanathan. I take this time to introduce our director of MCM, Dr. Prabhudev. Dr. Prabhudev has over 45 years of academic experience with his PhD specialization in liquidity position of corporate securities in India and measures to impart greater liquidity. He's a certified corporate director, has an MBA, LLB to his credential. Sir was a professor and head of Department of Commerce and Management, Seshadripuram College of Bangalore. He's academic dean at College of Business and Economics, Northeast Africa. He was the principal and director at CMR Institute of Management Studies, Bangalore. Director at Surana College of PG Studies. Senior professor at Christ University. Director campus at the Presidency College. And presently the director of MCM College of Management, MQI, Bangalore. Sir has written 8 books, 30 research papers, and over 40 articles. A motivational speaker too. We're glad to have you, sir, as a panelist. And over to you for the inaugural address.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning, all the participants. Good morning, the main speaker, Ms. Shilpa Somanathan, Dr. Shiva, and my dear colleagues and others. What a beautiful morning. And It gives me great pleasure in sharing my thoughts. In my inaugural address, what a beautiful topic. Go through comment here, the corporate stories will give us different insights, different perspectives. When we analyze the reasons why corporates succeed, 85% of times, 85% of the success rate goes to one aspect called emotional intelligence. Only 15% can be attributed to intelligent quotient. So the leader may be highly skillful. Technically, he may be very, very good. He's very intelligent. But if he is lacking in emotion, definitely he cannot navigate his organization through volatile times, through tough times. It is for everyone. Emotional intelligence is not for just corporate leaders. It is for everyone. It is for those who lead a team. It is for head of families. It is for head of any organization, institution, for teachers, and for students, for everyone. Emotional intelligence gained a lot of importance, especially when Daniel Goleman came out with the bestseller, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. He is a science journalist. Since then, a lot of deliberations have happened on this important topic, and people have added perspectives. Emotional intelligence has assumed different dimensions since then. Life is not the same always. Dr. Shiba was telling about the recent pandemic. Life is not the same. We don't know what adverse situation may hit us with what intensity. We don't know. But few people are able to handle it very well. And they demonstrate extreme sense of equanimity. They demonstrate agility, endurance, high degree of resilience to withstand the onslaught of these adverse situations. All of them have emotional intelligence profoundly present in their psyche, in their persona. We live in an extreme VUCA world. VUCA. V stands for volatility. U stands for uncertainty. C stands for complexity. And A stands for ambiguity. So when we operate ourselves in a VUCA world, we need to have a very high degree of preparedness, ably assisted by our emotional abilities, so that we can steer our team, especially I'm talking about team leaders, we can steer ourselves, on a personal level and handle all types of situations very, very well. And 5 domains of emotional intelligence, Mr. Shilpa is going to deliberate, she's going to touch upon all this. Those who are aware of themselves. Some people, they have ability to involve in self-reflection. They know their abilities, they know their weakness, they know their strength. So a high degree of self-awareness is one important attribute. It is not just self-awareness, regulating ourselves, self-regulation, managing our emotions. There is a lot of difference between an argument and a discussion. A discussion, while discussion is very productive, argument may not be. Therefore, it is important to regulate our emotions so that we contribute, we become productive in all situations, and ability to motivate our team. Before that, we need to motivate ourselves, because motivation is one important attribute for any successful leader. And empathy, understanding others' feeling, placing ourselves in others' position, other situation, This is one important attribute of any leader who is expected to have emotional intelligence and not to mention social skill. Today we operate ourselves in a community, in a society, and possessing extreme degree of social sensitivity is important. Some people lack this, unfortunately, but all successful leaders possess social sensitivity in abundant measure, which is very important. And emotional intelligence, is it inborn quality? Some people ask. Yeah, to a larger extent, it is inborn, but it can be acquired. We have seen people, acquiring emotional intelligence. We have seen people making concerted effort, conscious effort to practice emotional intelligence, because emotional intelligence gives us the ability model. It helps us perceive emotion, using emotion will offer us a useful skill toolbox. It can help us to understand the contextual sensitivity and all situational aspects, and yeah, it gives us a lot of key insight. I'm sure I was talking this, have positive leadership, and not just that, the quality of life. We are interested to have quality life, enhanced quality life. When we practice emotional intelligence, I'm sure we can have quality life and our health also, both, especially our mental health. When you're a happy man, we can exude happiness, we can exude confidence, we can exude good feeling. Mindfulness is an important aspect, and people who practice emotional intelligence can have a wonderful health, mental health included. And I was telling you, we should know the difference between argument and discussion, because emotional intelligence will help us to go away from unnecessary argument. And we teach our students to handle different situations, especially coping with the failure. And all leaders and everyone, in my opinion, everyone should have extreme sense of equanimity. While rejoice with happiness when you win a situation, but when we lose, definitely it is not the end of the road. We need to exercise our sense of equanimity and handle the situation very well, and especially failure, because failure is an integral part of life. We have seen business failure and failure at personal level. Therefore, emotional intelligence is important for us to cope with failure. We tell our students largely. And I was talking about team, collaborative working, collaborative effort is important. And this is possible only when the leader possesses emotional intelligence. It can foster a task excitement among the team members. It can foster a good feel among the team members, because he knows how to share his aspiration. He knows how to share his dreams, how to share his vision, how to share his goal. And I'm sure everyone in the team will be able to synergize his individual aspiration with the total organizational objective or team objective, if I should say so. Decision making definitely is going to be good if you practice emotional intelligence. Productivity, we have seen people, their productivity is very good. As I was talking about organizational success, and it reduces stress. And these days, emotional intelligence has taken different dimensions. We in India have an important social issue today, that is companionship, lack of companionship, especially very senior people, very elderly people, when they lose the spouse, when the children are away from the country working abroad, loneliness, kills them. I recall here a wonderful initiative by a startup by name Goodfellow. It began their activities very recently, August 2022. It is about providing companionship to the elderly who are in need of companionship. By whom? By young, intelligent graduates who are thoroughly screened for their empathy and emotional intelligence. And this startup, in my opinion, is a great contribution to address the important social issue in India today. And Shantanu Naidu, who was working in the Tata Group, he has provided the leadership, and the seed capital is provided by Ratan Tata of Tata Sons. So emotional intelligence is assuming a lot of importance. And without much ado, I hand over the forum to Ms. Shilpa Somanathan. I'm very eager to listen to her because she's an expert, and let all of us have the benefit of listening to Ms. Shilpa. Ms. Shilpa, it is yours now.
Yeah, just a minute, sir. I'll just introduce
Yeah,
her. Thank you, sir, for this warm words of welcome. Thank you for starting us off so great. I think it's so important to build that confidence and, to keep us so charged for those welcoming and warm words that that you started the session off for giving it a great start. Now it's time to introduce our main speaker this morning, and that's none but Ms. Shilpa Somanathan. I'd just like to give you a brief profile about her. Ms. Shilpa Somanathan is a clinical counselor, therapist, and a dance and movement facilitator. She has more than 12 years of experience in counseling, coaching, therapy, and healing people on different challenges and development of performance and competency in different age groups. She has worked actively as a student counselor, relationship counselor, business coach, corporate relation coach, skill development coach, competency development coach, theta healer, and hypnotherapist. Currently practices hypnotherapy, theta healing, tarot reading as efficient means of understanding and accessing internal challenges and arriving at definite solution-centric process. She's currently also doing her PhD in dance therapy, in dance and movement therapy from Banasthali University, India. She's also a certified handwriting analyst, pranic healer from World Pranic Healing Foundation Incorporation. She has access consciousness trained, and she's a basic NLP practitioner from the National Federation of Neuro-Linguistic Programming. She had been on a panel of counselors addressing the challenges of individuals on Suvarna Kannada. She's also a passionate dancer and a grateful entrepreneur. It is indeed an honor and privilege, ma'am, to have you on this webinar. Thank you for sparing your time. And I would now hand it over to Ms. Shilpa Somanathan. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for those kind words. And I think I really want to start off with thanking you for the opportunity, sir. It is, of course, like you said, a very important topic now that we are progressing both emotionally and spiritually through a lot compared to what we were a decade earlier. So I will just go through a few points, and probably what I would like to start off with is I'll tell you a story and we'll take it from there. Yeah. Voice is not audible. You can't hear me?
It is. Yeah, perfect.
You can just increase the audio a little.
It's audible.
Maximum capacity for the audio.
No, it is perfect. It is fine.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. So, like I was saying, I'll just start you off with a story. Okay. In a lot of countries abroad, surfing is a very go-to kind of a relaxation method. like how we have dancing or we have cycling, we meditate, we go for yoga classes. A lot of people love to surf. And one such guy was Butch. Okay, Butch was this really smart young guy who would love to surf in the blue oceans. And he loved to surf so much that it kind of became a profession for him. So he used to teach surfing. And whenever he would have the time, he would definitely go out into the deep blue sea and just, probably relax on his surfboard. And he was very accomplished. Butch was very accomplished. Now, one day he was sailing off into the blue sea. And he noticed that there was this crescent coming up, a small wave, which will later grow in size, and then he could ride it. Yeah. So that's what surfers do. They wait for this perfect wave so they can actually ride the wave. While he was noticing this wave, he also noticed a huge tail fin coming right at him with that triangular shape. And then out of the blue, he realized that it's a shark. And sharks love blood. They love blood. They can sense fear. And the first thing that Butch did was he froze. If you were in the ocean or the sea and you saw a huge shark coming at you, that was the first response in the body. The shark started circling him, and then he just realized that this is inevitable. This is how I'm going to die. And a minute later, he realized that he has 3 kids at home who are waiting for daddy to come back home. And that drove a sense of how many people fight a shark, a 14-foot shark who's going around in circles, just waiting to just bite and swallow you. Who does that? And the minute the shark withdrew, Butch started yelling at the top of his voice. He said, shark, shark. And the people who were actually getting into the sea started running back. They hit the shoreline, and somehow Butch felt it in him, the urgency to bring in all the energy that he possessed and swam to shore. The shark didn't give up. He followed, but Butch kept going. He went so hard that finally the shark had to fall back and Butch hit the shoreline. People who were standing at the shore could not believe what Butch had done. A puny little human being had survived a shark attack. How many people can survive and tell a tale? Maybe our lives aren't the same. Maybe I don't go down into the deep ocean and fight a shark, but I have my own stressors. You do too. Yeah, each one of you sitting here, we fight those sharks on a daily basis. And when that gets so overwhelming, we give up and we say, okay, that's it. I'm not doing this anymore. I don't have it in me to do it anymore. Yeah, we've all felt it at some point. And we tend to go into the shell and say, okay, I'm done. We give up. We try to look at solutions which are momentary. But what is it that got Butch to come back to the shore? Was it energy? Was it superhuman powers? He just regulated his so-called emotions. He knew that he was paralyzed by fear, but that's not what kept him. What kept him going was that he could regulate those emotions and bring them in control, to what was required at that point in time. What emotion did he require? He needed that brain fog to lift off so he could actually focus on getting the task done. That yes, I'm human and I will have emotions go through me at every point in the day is the intelligence. That is what we call emotional intelligence. Okay, definitions. Yes, of course, you have a lot of definitions. You can look it up. It's not hard to get it. But what you need to understand is my ability to maneuver through these emotions so I can be productive, I can be in control, I can feel powerful at all points is emotional intelligence. Okay, I'll take you through this step by step. We have a long way to go. But before that, I would like to share a few slides with you. Can just have a look and we'll see from there how it goes. So I told you the story of Butch and the shark. Now, what happened in Butch's brain or in our brains as we go through the stressor? Everything that we touch, see, hear, feel, eat, or whatever our sensory organs are capable of doing is sensory information. This sensory information is passed as electrical signals from cell to cell until it reaches the base of our brain. Okay, from the base of the brain, the emotions go into something called as the limbic system. The limbic system is right here at the center. And here, the limbic system understands only emotions. It reacts to emotions. It produces emotions. This is for the science or the scientist in us. This is how to understand the physiology of emotional intelligence. I am not going to go deeper into this. I just want you to understand that this is the process. From the base of our brain, as electrical signals, these tiny little sensory informations pass into our limbic systems where we react initially with emotions. Later, it moves from the limbic system into the frontal lobe, where our logical thought processes occur. Okay, that's when we actually realize, oh, okay, this is emotion number one, this is anger, this is fear, this is betrayal, this is whatever we want to feel at the point in time, and then we make a decision. So the physiology of emotional intelligence is just merely the communication between the limbic system and the frontal lobe. Okay, but what happens most of the time is our limbic system takes over, because that's our survival instinct. That's how we fight, flight, or freeze. Yeah, that's how we operate. That's why human beings are slightly more evolved than most other organisms, because we have the ability to regulate our emotions. Yeah, we have a lot more of emotions too. If you compare an animal and a human being, we go through a lot of emotions. Unfortunately, most of us are not able to label these emotions, and we'll get to that slowly. Okay, now time for reality check. Reality check one. They say that people with high IQ are the ones who succeed majorly in life. But it has been found that just 20% of people with high IQ succeed than people with average IQ, you, me, and a whole lot of people involved. Okay, so it's not about the IQ then. Then what is it? If it's not IQ, what is determining whether I'm succeeding or not, then what is that is succeeding? Reality check two. It's just 30 able to accurately describe at any point in time what exact emotions they are feeling. If I ask you a question, how are you feeling? And then you'll say, good or not so good. But what is it that you are feeling? What exactly is happening in our brain? What is it that you're feeling in your heart? How is your physical body reacting to it? Not many of us are able to describe it. So studies have shown that just 36% of the entire population is able to give an accurate word to their emotion. So let's look at those then first. What are our core emotions? What are the feelings that we go through in a day? We feel majorly happiness or sadness. Majorly, we feel anger or fear, and we feel shame. And these emotions exist not only with adults, you can see this in little children too. Children feel fear, they feel anger, they feel shame, they feel sadness, and they feel happiness. So when I ask someone, how are you today? Happy, or I'm angry. Yeah. But very few of us can actually point out the intensity of these emotions. Just let's look at that. Julia West was a person who worked a lot with emotions and the intensity of the feelings. She classified this into these feelings depending upon the intensity. This is just material that you need to read. And if you want to, I can always provide it to you. But we'll just look at it on an intensity scale. When I'm happy and the intensity of the happiness is high, I'm elated, I'm excited, I'm overjoyed, I'm thrilled at the happiness. But when the same happiness is at a low intensity, we are okay. I'm glad that this happened. I'm pleased. Thank you very much. I'm pleased you could join us. Thank you. So that's a low intensity of happiness. Now, here we are not going to describe our emotions as being either positive or negative. We are going to look at it as being destructive or constructive. And I'll tell you why. Like if I am afraid and the intensity of that fear is high, then I'm terrified, I'm petrified, I'm shocked. How could this happen? Oh God, no. What next? But if the same fear is at its low intensity, I'm unsure, I'm anxious, I could be nervous. Yeah. So depending upon the intensity, we can classify our feelings. So now looking at this, tell me, how are you feeling? This is Dr. Mark Brackett's mood meter. He is another person who closely worked with emotional intelligence, who has come up with his own set of emotions or the feelings, and they measure it on a mood meter. All these words that we put, we can measure it on an X and a Y axis. So, like I said, we will not be looking at feelings as being positive or negative. Doesn't help. What we'll be looking at is how pleasant or unpleasant is this feeling? How much energy is it giving me? How constructive or destructive does it feel right now to me? Because anger also is required sometimes. Fear is required sometimes. We can't say all negative emotions has to be pushed to a side. I don't need these negative emotions. No. If I don't feel these negative emotions, I don't function too. And it is required. But at what level? At what intensity? So if you look at the scale, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling quite pleasant? So I range my feelings from a -5 to a +5 on the feeling scale of pleasantness on the x-axis. And on the y, I have energy, which has -5 to +5. I look at it in these colored brackets. The yellow and the green brackets are high intensity, high pleasurable feelings, the feelings that give me pleasure. The ones in red and blue and a combination of both are the ones that give me a negative feeling, a highly unpleasant feeling, low on energy feeling. But that does not mean that I don't require it. All I need at that point in time is understand how I'm feeling. I need to feel the feeling and I need to let it pass. I need to move on from that feeling so I can move it from a level of unpleasantness to a more pleasant feeling. Yeah, I hope you're getting what I am saying. And if you're not, we will discuss it at length in the next few slides. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. Emotional hijack. Of course, you know what a hijack is. What happens in a hijack? I am taken forcefully from the place I wanted to be to a place that I don't want to be. And this happens unconsciously. It happens very, very unconsciously. Sorry, let's go back. Here, the amygdala, a very important part in my brain, hijacks my reasoning process, my normal reasoning process. And it says, okay, you're coming with me now because I'm feeling emotions and I can't do this. And you've got to do it with me. So all your reasoning process just can shut down for a bit because I need to feel these feelings. It's important, yes, at that point in time. But what is not beneficial is to stay with that feeling 24/7. How many of us have woken frustrated in a day? How many of us have woken with the tension and, felt that, okay, I'm going to be like this for the rest of the day? I mean, we don't wake up feeling that way and something happens, some situation happens, and then we are irritated, we are frustrated, we are nervous, we are anxious, whatever you want to call it. But that emotion stays with us, impacting every other day-to-day activity. Have you felt it? I'll give you an example. I woke up late one day, had to be at a meeting, very important one, I could not miss it. I woke up late. I told my parents to wake me up. I told my husband to wake me up. I told my in-laws to wake me up, whoever. Yeah, I had assigned this work to a particular person. They did not wake me up. My alarm didn't go off, or it went off. I hit snooze and I slept. And then what happened? I got delayed in every single thing. My child is crying. My husband wants this. Someone else outside wants something. I have an important call to attend. I need to get to that meeting. And there are 10 other people annoying me constantly. So what is my frustration at the point in time? It's just picking up. My frustration is just going higher and higher. And I really don't want to feel it, but I'm still feeling it. And when I'm going on the way, I am caught by cops. Because in all of this, I ran a red light. I was getting late. And the cop is holding me there and he is refusing to accept my driver's license and he has issues with my insurance. And it's a whole process and my frustration is just building up. And now I realize that I'm late for my meeting. I go back and I blame everybody, starting from my alarm, which did not wake me up. But I don't blame me because I did what I had to do. I had a long day yesterday. I slept very late. I slept at 1 o'clock in the morning, and you don't expect me to wake up at 5 and cook for you and clean for you and do that for you and send you to school. And oh my God, my challenges are real. And then the police inspector, how dare he? You don't find anybody else on the street to hold. I was just a second, the red light changed. The second later, I just moved in and you had to catch me. How dare you? And then I blame the BBMP people. Why? Because my roads are not clean. And then I blame the metro construction because every single road has a pothole or a construction site or something. And then finally, I blame the person I went to meet because you couldn't wait for 5 minutes. What, like I haven't given you the last 10 hours? I've been on calls with you repeatedly. I blame everybody. And then I realize that this is going to continue till the rest of the day because my daughter comes back home and then I shout at her for not finishing her food. I don't care how old she is. And then I shout at my husband, I pick up a fight with him. And I go to bed in a state of mind that I really didn't want. I didn't wake up and want this, but that life that day happened to me. And then the next morning I wake up and wonder why I'm still so agitated, irritated. And this is a whole process. Everybody's gone through it? We have, haven't we? Yeah. The only thing that would have helped at that point in time, probably, is for you to just take a minute off and realize, okay, my emotion is valid, right? I'm angry. So I regulate that emotion and then I proceed. There is a situation, there is an emotional response to the situation, which I can't control. I can't do this. What happens then? There is where the awareness sets in. If I am aware that, oh my God, this was it. That is all. I just hit the snooze button. Okay, I really needed some sleep. I'll text my client and say, can we have the meeting about half an hour later than we discussed? That would have solved my process. That is the thoughts. Because I am not giving way for my thoughts to happen. This I can control. I'm responding so that I don't have that trigger event again. So that I give myself enough time to travel through all the roadblocks, all the potholes, all the construction work, because I know that's what is happening here today. I cannot not say that, oh, I didn't know. Metro work has been going on for the last 5 years. I know that's how the roads are going to be. Why can't I put my work around it? I can control my thoughts. Are you seeing how this affects our everyday life? Then my daughter would have been a little more happier. My husband would not have picked a fight with me, or I would not have picked a fight with him. I would have gone to bed happier, and I would have woken up to a happier life the next day. Yeah, small things, very tiny little things. And this is the definition of what is emotional intelligence. Now I'm guessing that you are understanding slowly what is my emotions and how do I be a little smart about it. That's intelligence, isn't it? It's smartness I show in handling that emotion. Okay, if you've read this, now I need to find out, how do I spot these emotional triggers? How do I escape from an emotional hijack? Okay, someone is hijacking my head, my amygdala is working overtime. How do I escape? What do I do? There are two ways you can do this. Okay, forget it. Forget it. Okay, this happened. Okay, forget it. And then repeat it the next time, because our memory is about yay big. Yeah, our short-term memory is very small. So I'll repeat the same pattern again because I haven't done anything in the long term to prevent that. What else can we do? We can sort through our feelings and we can piece the puzzle. Very simple. I sort through my feelings. What do I do? How do I do that? Understand what is actually important in that situation. What was important for me? We train our brain. How do we train our brain? Because see, everybody can tell you, oh, you're not doing this right. Oh, do this way. But nobody will tell you how. Because everybody's still figuring it out, right? And what works for me might not work for you. It's always a trial and error process. You try, You try this and you try that and you try something else until something works for you. Okay? The first question that you need to ask yourself, see, it's a very small thing. Ask effective questions. Ask questions that will matter. Okay? How did I respond to this situation? Let's take the signal. How did I respond? I was angry. I thought, okay, that one split second will not matter and I can cross the signal. How did I respond? I responded impulsively. I responded in a way that I would not have responded. Understanding? Is this a trigger situation? Is getting up late a trigger situation? Is it happening often? Am I doing this constantly? Or is it just a one-off thing? Did it happen just today? Or is it constantly happening and I'm not realizing it's happening? Is it a trigger? Think. Could be? Yeah. Why did I react the way I did? Is something else bothering me? Maybe I really am not looking forward to that meeting with that client. Could be, right? It could be. How did my reaction help me? Or did it hurt me? If this was a big deal in lakhs, in crores, yes, it did harm me. But if it was just a small meeting, okay, I could have done without it today. It's okay. Sometimes emergency happens. Sometimes we are in situations we can't control, so it's okay. Did my reaction help me there or did it harm me? How does this fit into the big picture? What's my big picture? Is it that I have to live today, tomorrow, counting days, hours, minutes? Or do I have a big picture? And is this fitting into that big picture? What am I getting wrong in the heat of that moment? In the heat of the moment where my child came back and said something that I really didn't approve of, I hit her. Was that really required? Is she going to be open to talking to me again? Think. In the heat of the moment, what did I do? What would I change if I could do it again? What would I have thought? That small difference. What could I say to myself the next time that would help me think more clearly? Now, this is an individual thing. I can't tell you what to think. I can't even tell you what to tell yourself. I can't. But can you do it? Only you can. Nobody else. Yeah. This is something that you please have to take home with you. Emotional hijacks aren't pleasant, they are inevitable. Your body is going to go into the survivor mode. At every challenge that you face, your first reaction is going to be fight, flight, or freeze. There's no other way around it. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. You can't say, no, I'm going to train my brain not to think. You can't do that. I am going to train myself not to feel. Can't do that either. Emotions are going to happen to you. No matter how you think it is, it's going to happen. They are inevitable. So now ask that question. What is that right question? Is it helping me? Self-reflection, little strategy, small things that you can come up with that is going to help you. Making sense? Yeah, somewhere? Okay. Now, let's move to the actual part of this. Success principle. What is success? I'm a multimillionaire in the bank. Is that success? I have 3 cars, a jet, 4 businesses. Is that success? I have a happy marriage. I have beautiful children. Is that success? I have multiple PhDs. Is that success? What's success? a very, don't recollect the name, but a psychologist had said that success is not what you measure or what society measures you by. I got 100% in my SSLC exams. I got 100% in my PU boards. I got 99.9 point average. Is that success? Ask a child who scored that. Maybe that's not success. Maybe it is. Okay? But what you need to understand is that success is, am I better than what I was yesterday? Have I moved from where I was the last 1 year? COVID hurt us. COVID hurt us all. Okay? Emotionally, physically, psychologically, it hurt us. Have we moved on? Am I a little better than what I was 2 years ago? There's my success. And I can define it the way I want to define it. It's not your definition. It's not his definition. It's nobody's definition. Success is what I want to measure. Do I have peace and happiness in my life? I'm successful. Thank you very much. That's how I measure it. But someone else will measure it by the number of BMWs he owns. His success. You don't have to go by that rule. That is not your success principle. All you need to focus on is two things. One, personally competent. Am I personally competent? Two, is my social competency because we exist in a society. Okay? You are not letting them define it. You are just being competent to handle it. There's a difference. In personal competency, I have self-awareness and self-management. In social competency, I have social awareness and relationship management. Personal competency is for your success. Social competency, fortunately, unfortunately, we exist as a part of a symbiosis. We exist as a part of something, be it an organization, be it a college, be it a school, be it a societal meet, something. We exist as part of it. Therefore, at that point in time, we need social competencies that helps us manage these situations. We are not being dictated by these situations, we are managing. Okay? What is self-awareness? This, I think, is one of the most widely abused word, I would say. I'm aware, self-awareness. I'm aware of everything that's happening in my life. Have you looked deep into that awareness? Have you actually found out what self-awareness is? Let me put it this way. It's a foundational skill. Okay. If I am aware, I understand what skill to use where. Okay. First day of college, I remember I was walking down this huge campus and really couldn't figure out where to go because there were so many rooms. There was so much of shouting and screaming. And I'd like to consider myself as a person who was introverted in certain situations like this. So I'm just looking down at the road and I'm walking and walking and walking. And at some point, I reach my classroom. Yeah. And this is the first day of college, and first day of college is orientation. So I am sitting at the back, right at the back where nobody can see me. Okay. Because I really don't want to be seen or heard at that point in time. I just want to sit. So I sat down and I have this girl who is next to me and she's so excited about being here. It's the first time away from home. She's in this huge, beautiful campus and she's talking to everybody. Okay. And then after a while, she just calls me and she's like, hi. I'm like, hi. And she's like, what's your name? And I'm like, I'm Shilpa. And she's like, I'm Lisa. I'm like, yeah, hi, Lisa. And she's like, did you know you have something on your shoulder? I'm like, oh gosh, that's embarrassing. I'm like, no. And I look and I see a crow had blessed me happily that morning, I had a little bit of crow poop on my shoulder, maybe while I was walking down and I didn't realize it. Someone had to point it out to me that, hey, there's shit on your shoulders. If I was aware at the point in time, I would have felt something cold land on my shoulder. I would have noticed. But this awareness had to come from outside because it's here, no? At the back. I can't see it. I wasn't aware. And that's a good excuse that we give ourselves. I couldn't know it. I didn't see it. The true meaning of self-awareness is to be aware of it all points. Am I aware of what I'm feeling right now? Yeah, right now I'm, I really don't know the word. But now, right now, I'm feeling confident. Right now, I'm feeling happy, excited that I'm here. Awareness. I need to put a word to those feelings. And there I can understand what I am feeling and then shift if I really want to shift. Okay? And these right opportunities are not going to keep knocking at our doors. And when they do knock, if I am at a focused point, the right emotion, in the right setup, then I know that that was an opportunity that I didn't want to miss. Okay, let's look at self-management. What is self-management? It's your ability to use your awareness and your emotions to stay flexible and direct your behavior positively. Okay, I have two things. I have a cricket match that I really, really want to watch, India versus Pakistan. One of our favorite cricket matches to watch, India versus South Africa. Yeah. And I also have a unit test tomorrow. Which one will you pick? What is important? What is priority? Which opportunity or which event will serve you better? That is self-management. If I had two options and I make a choice, which option will serve me better? Self-management. What is social awareness? Again, a foundation skill, because I told you we live in a society and there is no other way out of this. We are obligated to that society and we will learn to be aware of it at all points in time. It's the ability to accurately pick up on emotions of others. You walk into a room, you sense that someone else is sad. Maybe they've lost a pet. Maybe they lost their job. And you go, hey, I'm so happy to be today and I'm so excited. My job is like permanent and I got a raise. Have you accurately noticed what is happening in that person's life? Or are you just overcome by your emotions to talk? My sense of awareness isn't restricted to what I am feeling. It also has to move slightly beyond your self into the outside world, sense what the other person is feeling. That's exactly why offline classes are so much better than online. I can actually sense who I'm talking to. I can sense what you're doing. Are you with me? Are you not? It makes a difference, doesn't it? Okay, there are two parts to social awareness. One is to listen. Two is to observe. When you observe, you can respond in a good way. When you listen, you can talk in a way that will match that situation. Most of us listen with an intent to reply. Yeah, I'm listening to you because I want to ask this question. I'm listening to you because I read this somewhere, but I want to listen. Don't be biased. Just listen. 100%, completely. And then you can talk. Yeah. Relationship management. Wherever we go, This is one thing that we can't get out of. We have a relationship with every single thing. We have a relationship with ourselves. We have a relationship with our spouse. We have a relationship with our parents, with society, with the university, with the workplace. We have a relationship in a party because we need to be there, present at that point in time. This is the ability to use your awareness of your own emotions and those of others to manage interactions successfully. Okay? It is the bond you build with others over time. It's the difference between frequency. How often do you get to talk to this person? Difference between interaction and relationship. I interact with a person on a bus just for that half hour of commute, but I have a relationship with my students. Get the difference? Stress affects relationship management. I told you, I was stressed out through the day because my meetings didn't go right. And that stress I took out on the one person that I value closest to me, my child. It affects my relationship. We need to understand that relationships matter and how to manage them. These are strategies for self-awareness. I'm just going to run through it quickly because you can read and understand this. These are basic pointers. Quit treating feelings as good or bad. I told you this at the beginning of the session. It is not positive or negative. It is constructive versus destructive. Observe the ripple effect from your emotions. How is it hurting people around you? How is it hurting yourself? Are you stressed all the time because you are not able to manage your emotions? Lean into your discomfort. We are so comfortable sitting in one place doing one thing. Can we get up and move on? Know who you are and what pushes your buttons. This is not similar for everybody. Yeah, certain things push my buttons. What is pushing your buttons? Some things trigger me. They affect me more than they affect you. Know that and understand that. And it is okay. You're not wrong or right in that situation. It is okay. You have to feel your feelings. It's valid. Feel your emotions physically. I'm feeling sad. Where can I feel it in my body? Am I feeling sad here? Am I feeling sad here? Each person shows a different physical reaction. Observe, understand. Don't be fooled by a bad mood. It's not going to last. Don't be fooled by a good mood either. That's also not going to last. Okay? Seek feedback. See, I understand that when we seek feedback, we say, yeah, I'm open to feedback. But when somebody actually gives you feedback, you'll be like, no. And then you blame 100 other things. Yeah? Visit your values. What are the values that you respect in yourself? What is it that you want to carry on? What is it that you want to give others? Strategies of self-management. Create an emotion versus reason list. This was given by Hossenbell and Kinder. It's a trait, ambivalence. Ambivalence is a trait of mine which makes me quite torn between two possibilities. I have two choices and I'm torn between those choices. Okay, I don't know whether I need to do this because it feels good, or I don't know whether I need to do this because it's appropriate. So that's when I sit down and I make a list, an emotion versus reason list. Then you figure out what helps. Look at the big picture. Make a choice. Breathe right. When I say meditation, people say, God. Meditation doesn't have to be sit down, close your eyes, chant. Breathe right. It's enough meditation for you. Or sleep on it, even better, no? There are some things that sleep can solve. It gives you distance, it gives you perspective. Take control of your self-talk. What am I talking to myself? I've heard this. I make one mistake and there's this one child that goes, I'm such an idiot. No, you're not. You made one mistake. Stop talking to yourself like that. I always do this. Today I got it wrong. Just this once, I made a wrong decision. That's okay. Take control of your self-talk. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself you're foolish? Are you telling yourself you're confident? Visualize succeeding. Again, succeeding is your definition of succeeding. You visualize what you want to do, and then go ahead and do it. Focus on freedom, not limitations. I have a bad back. I'm old. I'm a woman. These are my limitations. What is your freedom? What gives you freedom? I can move. I have functioning limbs. I can get out of my comfort zone. That's freedom. Speak to an external source. This is slightly important, something that we don't want to do because our ego comes in the way. Catch hold of a person who can mentor you. Ask their opinion, anything that they have to offer you that will make your life slightly better. Learn from those who you meet. Don't take this as, I'm just going to see her for 5 minutes, but look at her, look at that person and find what is that one quality that you would like to imbibe from this person that you just met. Is it that's the way of talking? Is it that smile? Is it the feeling of freedom that they carry within themselves? Is it that they're just very silent? Is it that they're focused? Pick, learn, there's nothing wrong. Strategies for relationship management. Social awareness first. Greet people by name. What's your body language? Timing is everything. Clear the clutter here. First clear the clutter here. And if you're not able to do it, clear the clutter in your physical presence, in your physical room. It'll make you feel much more calmer. Are you working on a cluttered desk? Move the clutter. You will feel much more focused. Understand the culture game. I'm like this. Wherever I work, they should follow what I do. No. You are going into an environment. You are going into an organization. You are going into a culture. You need to understand that culture game. And then tweak your emotions. As you go seek the whole picture, we did this, live in the moment. What do I need? I have my goals, yes, planned out for the next 5 years. But today, what am I going to do? Am I enjoying today? Am I enjoying this minute with all of you? Or am I still thinking, okay, what do I make for lunch? Stay in the moment. Enjoy this. Practice the art of listening. I told you this. We listen usually to come back, to give a comeback. What will be my best response to this? Listen with an intention of listening. Catch the mood of the room. This becomes so important to catch the mood of the room. Relationship management, be open and curious. That's one thing that we have lost over time because Google provides us with all the answers. Be open, be curious to what people have to say. Be curious. Why is that bird that color? Why is that tree growing there? Be curious. How does it matter? Enhance your natural communication style. Acknowledge another person's feelings. If you care, show it. Please don't say, yeah, I care in my heart. It's here. How would the other person know you care? Tell them. And this is very important for leaders, for those who are leading in an industry. Normalize, agree to disagree. I'm the leader, and therefore you should agree with everything I say is not fair. Okay, I have a thought process, you have a thought process. Let's agree to disagree on that. We'll come back and visit it. Align your intention with your impact. What do I want to do? Where is my intention at? Tackle a tough conversation. How do you tackle a tough conversation? Ask the right questions. Start with an agreement. I agree. This is a good spot for us to be. But I'm not exactly understanding what is it that you're trying to tell me. Could you please clear this for me? And then that person explains, yes, of course. Okay, now don't say, okay, now I have to show what I am. My ego will come. No, no. Okay, now can I explain what I meant by this when I said it? And then move forward from there. Take feedback with a pinch of salt. It's for you. Might help you grow. Take it. Build trust. I am the manager, therefore you have to blindly follow me doesn't work. Build that trust. Give them what they need. Show them that you care. Don't avoid the inevitable. You know for a fact that this is going to happen. Don't try to work around it. Yes, this is going to happen. Now, how do I keep my cool while this is going to happen? My performance review is coming up. Yes, I did not perform well this quarter, and it is okay. Now, how do I deal with that? Correspondence bias. This is a bias which most people carry. Because my teammate agreed to it, yes, even I will agree. You have your own thought processes. Now, let's say, for example, one person was walking down the floor and they slipped. And someone else is like, ha, this person is always clumsy. And you're like, yeah, very clumsy. Can't you see where you're going? But probably the external factor to that was that it was a slippery floor. We did not notice that. But because someone else called him clumsy and that person knows him for longer, you agree, yeah, this person has to be clumsy. This guy knows him better. Correspondence bias. Stay out of that. Understand that there could be external factors. Small baby steps. These are the only way that we will move forward. Today, I can't get up and say, okay, I will do emotional intelligence. I am so intelligent right now. One step at a time. Today, I control one thing. I learn to regulate it. Tomorrow, I work a little more on it till actually I can understand and be completely aware that this is what is going on in my head. And if you can't, go back, revisit it, step forward. It is not one single path, You will fall, you will step back a couple of times, but you will still move forward. You will. I think I said whatever I had to say. And we can have a question and answer session, or if you want to.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for making it so impressive and your stories and experiences that you've had on how we can be self-aware and manage ourselves using the strategies you mentioned. Okay, now the virtual floor is open for questions. Go ahead. There are a few questions on the chat, as well as if somebody wants to ask the question, you can the host, the organizers can just unmute the person so that they can ask the question. Over to you. Over to each one of you. If you have questions, either put it on chat or you can ask. Thank you.
There's a question and answer thing. So thank you all of you for your very kind words. So let me just look at this and I will answer it live. So I'm looking at the question that says difference between core emotion and feeling. It's the same thing. Feelings are, when I say emotion, it is a much larger part of my feeling. Okay, so if I look at an emotion can be it, like when we saw the slide, we said the emotion is happy, but all the tiny little feelings in between that made me happy, the excitement, the indulgence, the glad, the contentment, all of this comes under feeling. Okay, I hope I answered that. How to stop feeling the need of getting validation from others. We all struggle with this, right? So we can't stop a feeling. Just understand that we can't stop this feeling. Okay, we need to feel it. And it's okay. We all want to be externally validated every single time, because that's how we get our sense of comfort. It's easy for people to tell, yeah, you need to be internally validated. Also understand that not everybody can give you that external sense of validation. So internally, if I know that this is what matters to me, I am validated there. But if I keep looking for someone to give me a validation, it's not going to happen. Yeah. Somebody who's hurt you, they will not come back and tell you, yeah, I hurt you, I'm very sorry. Do you need that? You don't need it. Yeah, you're good enough on your own. You just believe that and you keep going forward. Which are external factors? Like I told you, a slippery floor, traffic jams, anything that could be external in that situation that comes from outside and that I can't control. Okay. How can ups and downs of emotional feelings be kept in balance? By understanding, by being aware. If I am aware that this feeling is not helping me in this situation, then I can strike that balance. It is not going to happen immediately, but it is going to happen. See, life is not going to be in one straight tangent all the time. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be there and there and there and there and everywhere. If I can figure out that I'm going there, I'm like, okay, I can come down. But if I know I'm going there, I can also come back up, because that's being aware completely. Breathe, take a minute off, take a day off, take a week off, if that's what's going to bring you back. But you need to do that. Nobody else will do it. My manager is not going to figure out that I am under stress and give me a week off. Not going to happen. You need to prioritize you. And when you do that, you will find the answers. How emotions can effectively be regulated by oneself. I just think I answered that right now. Each one has his own way. For me, I like to sit down. I like to write it down, maybe maintain a journal. I like to probably just internalize it. I want some space. I want some silence. And sometimes the day I do it is I send my daughter away with someone else. Like, I mean, not a stranger, right? With her dad or her grandpa. I send her off, and then I have this 1 or 2 hours where I can just be by myself. Sometimes I binge watch Netflix. Helps. Sometimes you respond, but people judge you with your earlier perception of your personality. What to do in this situation? You can't control it. External factor. They are judging you. What can you do? Nothing, no? You can't do anything. All you can do is you understand that you are not that same person as you were before. And you move on. How to overcome anxiety and get confident. Okay, that's a whole different session, but I'll give you small things that have helped me in the past. Anxiety is a low-grade feeling. Anxiety is a feeling in that moment that I'm not able to control that particular situation. One awareness of the fact that I cannot control the situation will help you ease that anxiety. I can't do anything about it. I just need to accept it. And confidence comes with practicing what you're not good at. Simply put, if I am not good at something, I practice it enough number of times, get confident doing it. That's it. If I'm not confident talking to people, go and talk to other people. Go to a mall, find a stranger, say, hi, hello, what's your name? Mine is this. It seems weird, seems like a struggle at first, but believe me, it helps heaps. How do you prepare yourself before a class? Okay. I have practiced NLP techniques. So I use a few grounding techniques. I use a few anchoring techniques. So that's how I prepare before a class. How you prepare before a class would be totally different. How I prepare myself before I go up on stage for a dance performance is completely different. How I prepare myself when I speak to an audience is different. How I take dance classes is different. How I prepare myself before speaking to a client is different. So for me, NLP techniques have helped a lot. The grounding techniques have helped a lot. I, at any point in time, have physical anchors that I can do. Anchoring is setting a physical touch or a feel for you. When you touch that, you feel confident. These are NLP techniques. NLP is slightly more complex than what I can explain in maybe a sentence or two. Probably someday we will do a session on that, or you can read up on NLP. There are a lot of books, a lot of courses that you can do. That will help. Some people meditate. Some people jump up and down. Some people like to listen to music. Some people dance. So you pick yours. Okay. How not to feel inferior complex from others. How much do you love yourself? If you don't love yourself, then whatever you do is not going to be good enough. Yeah. Suggest some good must-read books which is worth the time. Okay. Now, what exactly is a good read according to you? On this particular topic, Daniel Goleman, you can read his book. You can read the book of, I think, Feeling My Feelings. It's a beautiful book. You should read it. Probably I'll give you a list. There are books on emotional intelligence. This is 2.0. I think he's written the second one. You can read Murphy's book on manifesting what you really want. These books have helped me in the past. The book on Secret has helped. I know it's highly rated sometimes, but it helps. Yeah, ma'am, does depending on external push for motivation good? No. Because externally motivated people or someone to externally motivate you is not going to be present all the time. But if you can internally motivate yourself to get up and get going, then I think you don't need anybody else to validate that, okay, I'm feeling low today, okay, it'll happen. Can we balance emotion and feelings? Yeah, obviously, all the time. You just need to be aware of what it is that you're feeling, what emotion it translates to, and then you're set, you're good to go. What's your hardcore memory which rejoices you? The birth of my daughter. There was a lot going on, but that cute little, curls, the final feeling of, yes, I did it, that rejoices me. Quite a turmoil, huh? Getting a kid to come out of you. Yeah. How to overcome the feeling of regret. See, regret again, your core emotion for this regret is either anger or either fear or either the feeling of dissatisfaction, sadness. But when you control or when you understand that my regret is coming from this place, it's easy to be kind to yourself. I can't not like myself. I can't be cruel to myself and expect everybody else around me to be kind to me. I need to be kind to myself first. And we all have things that we regret, no? Everybody. You, me, him, her, everyone. My parents, your parents. But it's okay. And we will move past it when we understand that we did that because at that point in time, that was all that felt right. It's okay. Forgive yourself. Madam, sometimes I can't control my anger. Afterwards, I feel sorry for that. I regret them too. How to control it? This is exactly what we are talking about, the emotional intelligence part of it. Yeah. The awareness. Okay, I am getting angry. The physical thing would be you will notice a certain, when I get angry, my body flushes. I become red and I can feel hot here in my ears and my heart starts to palpitate. So when that happens, now I'm aware that I am getting angry slowly. And the only thing for me at the point in time to do is to breathe, just regulate and say, okay, I am getting angry. My feelings are valid, but it is not going to help me in this situation. And I slowly calm down. Could you please elaborate on the self-management, particularly with with stress and anxiety? The stress and anxiety part of it in the self-management comes with understanding that I am under stress and I am anxious. What happens in our society is we have normalized being stressed. We've normalized being anxious. It's normal. Yeah, so what? Even I'm stressed. Yeah, so what? Even I'm anxious. Don't normalize it. You understand that, yeah, I'm under stress and I need to do something to remove that. If it's a stressful situation, you know that that situation will change. But if it is a stressful person, you have an option to walk out. You can't constantly live under stress. You deal with it. Conflict management. You understand it. Where is this person coming from? Repeatedly that is not working out, then you get your space. You move away from that stressor. How to encourage on self-satisfaction? You should tell me. I don't know. How do you feel satisfied? How would you be able to achieve satisfaction? See, for me, satisfaction comes from a different source. For you, it might come from a different source. Okay. For me, satisfaction is not having that luxury car to drive in. So I'm satisfied if I get a piece of chocolate cake to eat. I'm very satisfied. What is your satisfaction levels? You look within, inside. What should we do to forget the bad memories in the past, which haunts us terribly? These bad memories are the same thing, right? As our regrets. They will keep coming. Always. The only way to understand it is to be kind to ourselves and understand that everybody has done something that they regret. We made the best decision at that time, which was available to us. Nobody picks a bad decision on purpose. We don't say, okay, this is good decision, this is bad decision. I'm going to pick the bad decision because I'm cuckoo. No, we don't. Give yourself some credit. At that point in time, you did what you had to do. And it's okay if it feels wrong later on. But be nice to yourself. You deserve to know that you are loved. And you need to show that love. Andar se. Not from outside. Nobody is going to love you if you don't love yourself.
Sorry for the interruption, ma'am. I think so will be, because of the time constraint, we'll take another 2 questions maximum.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you.
How to confront a person who's trying to trigger me in a working atmosphere continuously. So you understand that that's a trigger and you talk to that person. See, sometimes we can't do without working with them. We need to work with them. So you tell them that, okay, I need to have a conversation with you. These are the pointers. See, when the minute someone triggers us, our only response is to get angry or irritated or get into a shell and close ourselves. We are never open to discussing it. Try discussing it. Get up, make an attempt to talk to that person. If it doesn't work, then you look at the next step. What is it that we can tell or do? You can approach a senior manager, get it fixed. I'm a research scholar. It's difficult to quantify the emotion of a person, but academicians are. Yeah, the thing with emotional intelligence of ever since 1995 is the fact that we have not been able to quantify it. There are no good, like if I can measure depression on a scale, I can't measure emotional intelligence on a scale. People have come up with a few definite questions that can help, but I don't see that there is an elaborate usable test as such to use in a thesis. So maybe you could sit down with your guide and figure out what you could do to, help balance the both, or you add in some external or other criteria to it, which emotional intelligence is a part of, under stress or, something.
Yeah. I think there are a lot more questions, Ms. Ma'am, I think
Yeah.
if you have any more questions, ma'am, you could actually put out your email ID and your phone
Yeah,
number there.
sure.
They could
Definitely.
contact
I
you
can
directly.
give you my email ID.
You can put it
are-
on the chat, because if they want to reach out to you directly, they could do that. I think since we are running out of time, thank you so much. It was such a valuable and such a lots to learn. I think everybody's question had so much of learning from each of us, and we just
Yeah,
want.
yes. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very much.
Ms. Shilpa. See, we always believe in quality is the defining element in education. And our webinar, every single webinar we have organized has been so good, and going by the participation. So this webinar is also very well participated. At one level, it went beyond 300, but more than 700 registered, and many participation from abroad. So this only shows that the topic is so important, and very, very important topic, and it needs a very big canvas. And the speaker has done a wonderful job in putting so many inputs in limited time capsule, and in her own inimitable style, beautiful articulation, and the content, rich in content, beautiful voice, and very rich expression. See, for a speaker to reach out, to connect with the audience, all these ingredients are very important, and they are present in the speaker in abundant measure. I take this opportunity to thank my team, my management, which has been so encouraging, which has been so supportive in every activity of ours. And Dr. Shiba, you have done a great job. And Ms. Shilpa, my rich compliments to you for your wonderful presentation. And you have answered all the questions so beautifully well.
Thank
And
you.
any program of this nature, of this scale, will be successful only when the participants come out with questions, searching questions. And all the questions have been adequately answered, appropriately answered. Because of time constraint, we are not able to take all the questions. So the participants, you can contact the speaker and take our discussion to the next level. You can contact her, and I'm sure Ms. Shilpa will be very eager to
I
interact
shall
with
be
all
very
of you.
glad to answer your
So,
questions.
thank you. And I take this opportunity to thank all the participants, thank the speaker, and thank all of you very much. So take care. We'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, and thank you each one of you for your overwhelming responses. I'm so glad, and thank you for, again, as sir said, faculty, and a lot of background work has gone into this. Maybe y'all are just seeing a few of us on screen, but I think there's the faculty and management have really worked backstage to put this across. Thank you all so much, and want to say a big thank you to all the participants. I think without you, this wouldn't have been possible. Thank you, Shilpa, and thank you to Dr. Prabhudev for always being an encouragement and the inspiration for this webinar. Have a great weekend. And yes, as we mentioned, the e-certificates will be issued upon completion of the feedback form. And it will be shared it's been shared on the chat box. So please do that if you need your e-certificates. Thank you one and all. Have a great signing off. Dr. Shiva Thomas from MCM. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. The feedback link has been put on the chat box. Those who have not yet submitted, kindly submitted. The feedbacks will be accepted maximum before 12:35. So there are another 2-3 minutes left. So I request all of you to kindly fill.